So if Jesus just claimed to be God, and we have no verifiable way to prove that such is the case.
Well, if he rose from the dead, don't you think that's solid evidence that he's not blowing smoke when he claims to be God?
I think that the fact that he raised from the dead is not verifiable. I'd say that I'd be really questionable of George Washington if he said that he raised from the dead too.
Well, so would I. Because the evidence is Washington died and stayed dead. Doctors tried to keep him alive, but they didn't succeed. Jesus Christ died, but 3 days later, he rose from the dead, and over a period of 40 days, over 500 people see him at different times in different places, risen from the dead. It's pretty impressive.
Okay.
And they died for it. They were martyred for it. And hypocrites and martyrs are not made of the same stuff. Hypocrites and martyrs are not made of the same stuff. These guys said, we saw Jesus risen from the dead, and they died for what they claimed to have seen.
Okay, great. That is fantastic.
I'm glad you believe that. Now go on with your faith in Christ.
Okay, so no. What I'm saying is that even by your own standards, it doesn't make any difference. Like, it does not make a single bit of difference. If you can't, even by your own test, can't verify the fact that it is a historical document, then that does not make any difference. With beyond reasonable doubt, and there is, reasonable doubt to be sure.
Oh, sure, I struggle with doubt. We all struggle with doubt. If you don't struggle with doubt, you're brain dead, probably. So everybody struggles with doubt. The question is, what do you do with your doubts? I hope you allow your doubts to motivate you to study more carefully, to question more deeply, to look at options. Now, I hear you saying, beyond reasonable doubt. Okay, so anybody who says to me, the reason I can't put my faith in Christ is because I can't see evidence beyond reasonable doubt that point to him being reliable, so I don't believe in him.
Okay.
Fine. Then please tell me, who or what are you living for? And then second question, what's the evidence in which you are living for is beyond reasonable doubt?
Okay, so there are three things. Number one, I'd never, ever claim that the reason why I would not believe would be because I don't believe that these are historical texts. I'm saying that because we can't verify that these are historical texts, that's a reason to doubt, but that is not the reason I am saying that I do not or would not believe. And I think that by saying that there is no other reason to believe is inherently closed-minded, and what you're trying to promote is this open-mindedness of accepting of Jesus and all this other stuff. But your rhetoric points otherwise. The way that you speak about the subject, the way that you talk about the subject is inherently disenfranchising to people who are do not necessarily agree with you.
Well, if I've offended you in any way, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you.
I'm not offended.
Okay, good. So what's your point?
I mean that there's people probably over there that are offended because they're.
I don't care that they're offended. That's not what I'm saying.
But what are you saying? Just clarify, please, so I understand.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that the assertion that I was the person that said that I'm the person that says that the fact that I cannot verify that these are historical texts means that I disagree, that I defer agnostic or atheist is wrong. I am saying that we can go back and look at manuscripts from a whole bunch of other people and find that they was wrong. We could find that out, that it is wrong. And we do that on a consistent basis. We find out that what we know is wrong, whether that be in science or whether that be in society.
Mm-hmm.
We find out continuously that what we thought was true was false.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that if we cannot do that now, then we cannot do that at all. We cannot do that at all with somebody who claims to be God.
Right. And if it can be shown that Jesus did not rise from the dead,
so
faith in Christ is idiotic. But if the evidence is he did rise from the dead, then faith in Christ is wise.
Yeah, I think that's a huge straw man argument, and putting
straw man.
Yeah.
In what way?
Yeah, that'd be. I'd never said that belief in Christ was idiotic, and
No, I said it.
Yeah, I realize that you said it, but like the rhetoric you uses is very like inflammatory towards anybody who
It's
does
what
not
Paul
believe.
says in 1 Corinthians 15. In 1 Corinthians 15, the Apostle Paul says, if Jesus Christ is not risen from the dead, we are fools for believing in him. So I'm just repeating his argument. But if Jesus Christ has risen from the dead, then faith in Christ is very wise.
All right, and we know this because a book that was written 2,000 years ago, and a whole bunch of other people like the book a lot.
No. He's appealing to logic.
Logic.
Work it out. Parse it out. If you die and rise from the dead, I promise to listen very carefully to everything you have to say.
Really?
Really.
Okay, so I'm going to just stock my heart.
Pardon?
CPR, and then you'll listen?
If you die, are medically dead, 3 days in the tomb, and you rise from the dead, I promise to listen very carefully to everything you have to say. Why? Because the evidence is you are amazing.
I am God. The evidence is that I am God.
No, the evidence is you're amazing, that I'll listen to you.
Okay.
And if you tell me you took this neat drug and that you tricked the medical profession and you weren't really dead, but you resuscitated, then that's one thing. But if the evidence is you really were dead, and then you come back from the dead, I will be very impressed.
But if I tell you afterwards that I'm God, then who do you know? I am God.
Yeah, and if you tell me that you're God in human form after you rise from the dead, I will be prone to believe you.
Great.
So go ahead and do it.
That is fantastic.
Okay, I think what if we took stem cells from him and cloned them? Would that make sense?
I don't care about stem cells.
But I do. But I'm saying you're just being like him. You're not open to anyone else's. So it's just
like, okay, so stem cells, great. I believe that it is definitely medically possible in the future to live forever, but like not right now. You're right. Like right now, no, there's no way. We are done for right now. I think that in the future, it's a vast misstep to think that we will not progress to the point where that is possible. And I think that humans are progressing to that point, and probably will eventually.
Okay. I'm not going to bank my life on it, but okay.
There you go.
I need more evidence.
Need more evidence?
See, that's why I find a gentleman like you, your thinking, to be fascinating. You tell me that you can't believe in Christ because there's reasonable doubt. But then you go on and say, but it is possible, very possible, that we human beings are going to be able to advance scientifically and medically to the point where we're going to live for eternity.
So you're
going to convince me that that's not beyond reasonable doubt.
Okay, so your evidence is empirical.
Ay.
Okay, no, so your evidence is empirical. You're saying that 1 out of 1 people die, right? It's an empirical proof.
I'm saying the evidence is the
yes
statistics on death are overwhelming.
Okay, great.
1 out of 1 die.
Okay, that is empirical evidence. Okay, so this guy comes up to you, right? And he goes, give me your money or I'm going to shoot you. And you go, nah, you won't shoot me. I've never been shot before. So, like, you're saying that whenever you are, because every single person up to this point has died, then that is the case forever. But, like, you have never been shot before up to this point, so now you're saying that I will not get shot in the future because of the fact that I have not been shot in the past.
I can promise you, sir, I would never say or believe that I'm not going to be shot in the future because I've never been shot in the past. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to say that you're basing your entire argument on the fact that we will die in the future on empirical proofs. And empirical proofs are inherently false. Like, they're unverifiable.
I never used the word empirical.
You're right, you didn't, but what the form of the argument you used was empirical. Trust me.
No, I'm not going to trust you.
All right, great. Don't trust me.
Okay?
So maybe then, like, we need to, like, have some discourse on, empirical evidence and empirical proofs. So
define empirical proof.
Okay, so empirical proof is an analysis based on previous experiences. So like it's anecdotal, basically. You're saying that because something happened in the past, it'll happen in the future. But I'm using the inverse of that to prove that it is false. Yeah.
You've lost me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm not very smart, okay? So I haven't been able to understand what you just said.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But, I mean, I'm sure he at one point he knew what he was talking about.
I still do know what I'm talking about.
But I mean, but from his perspective, he didn't understand it.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.